Hi everybody, welcome to Cabin Crafts, and I'm going to try to do a fun quick tutorial today. I've got a little table runner here that's like a floor cloth mat, and it's just scrap, and so I wanted to show you a method today called faux marbling, and you can see it up on these three up here. But this is actually a very fun and easy technique. You don't have to be skilled to do this. And if you've been following Ron and Justine's honeymoon video or pictures, I saw where she posted a house in Richmond that had a floor cloth, a whole room size floor cloth that was done in this manner. And so I just wanted to demonstrate this to y'all today. Hopefully I'll get it in. I've been having all kinds of problems with my camera because I use my phone and it stops and shuts down on me. So I'm going to try to do this quickly, but thoroughly. And then I'll also tell you about some of the mistakes I made so that you can maybe learn from my mistake. But the tools you will need is you'll need a feather, any feather, or if you don't have a feather, a very fine line paintbrush. You will need some gray paint. I've got a pile of gray paint there, and I've actually watered it down a little bit. And you will need a sea sponge. Now you can get these. I picked these up at Walmart. They were all in a little bag, and I think you get about 3 or 4 of them, and you can get them in the craft department at Walmart. And you want to get this wet, take it and run it under some water and get it wet, and then wring it out really, really good. And I'm going to show you that's the first step. So faux graining things was really, really big in early America up into the Federal period, which is what Justine loves, the 1820s and even up to the 40s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my paint. Let me put this up here. Maybe you can see a little better. And you want to have a little bit of paper toweling so you can towel off. You don't want to have too much. And you're just going to, let me scoot this one down maybe, and you're just gonna lightly sponge. I hope you can see that, but it's just lightly sponged. We'll do this middle one here. Maybe you can see that one a little better. I'm going to sponge some of it off on my paper towel. And the cool thing about this is there's no wrong way or right way. I mean, you can't go wrong, in other words. Just in some areas can be really, really super full. You go back and put a little more on here if you want. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do this one over here. Let me pull this down. You can go a little lighter. You can go a little darker. This is imitating Carrara marble, which is really popular right now, which is why I decided to do this one. Okay, so when you get your sponging to your satisfaction, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our feather and I'm going to drag it through. You can see there's just a little bit of paint on there. And let me start with this one over here. And you want to go onto the chalk or onto the taped lines. You want to go off on that so that it looks like it's like a tile. Okay, so we're just gonna and you want to, I was told one time, drink 12 cups of coffee before you do this. You want to shake. So you're going to shake, you're just going to drag your feather all across the surface. And you're going to go in different directions. And you don't have to do a perfect, X, because they wouldn't have, marble has all sorts of cool lines and flaws in it, but go off the tape some. Just go in all kinds of directions. So it looks like there's maybe some cracks in the marble. Make some big, wide. You can't, like I said, you just really can't. You just can't make a mistake with this. Now we're going to go to the next square. See how fast this is? And I'm going to just take a big diagonal line all the way across. And I'm going to add some more to it. Look at that big old fat wavy spot. That's perfectly fine. And then you might have some little veins come off of that. But like I said, make sure that you go on and off the tape so that it looks like you stopped places that you stopped. Here's the next one. Do you see how fast this goes? So in early America, and probably in Europe too, but it was mostly an American thing because Americans were trying to replicate the fancy fireplaces and things that their counterparts in Great Britain had. And they might not have had the money to have a marble fireplace. And this one I'm just going to kind of do a little bit lightly because some of them have a lot and some of them don't. We'll just leave that there. That's it. There's those three. You saw how fast that was, and we can take the tape off. Let me take my... So what I was going to tell you my mistake was, I was doing this, I was going to sell this in the shop, and now I can't because it's too buckly. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if you can tell, but this is really wrinkly, and I even tried to iron it. You can actually iron your floor cloths on the wrong side, not on the paint side, but on the wrong side, and get it flat. But what I made the mistake of doing is I hemmed it first. And even though this is pre-primed canvas, you need to paint your area first and then hem it because it still shrinks and stretches a little bit when the paint dries. So don't make the mistake that I did. I did the whole thing and then I hemmed it first and then I painted it, and you definitely don't want to do that. But did you see how quick and easy that was? So what I was saying is people would do this in colonial America on a fireplace, on a mantle. So they might have a wooden mantle, but they want it to look like faux marble. So they would do this technique on wood. They also, I'm going to try and do some other faux techniques for y'all. Paint graining. They would grain wood to make it look like different exotic woods like mahogany and tiger maple and, you know, some of the spalted woods that are so beautiful and exotic that some of them are extinct. Some of the trees are extinct now that they used to be able to get in colonial America. They couldn't afford the furniture, so they would paint cheap pine furniture or cheap woods with these graining techniques. So this would have been done on columns, like in big massive houses that they had wooden columns. They would do this to look like marble. And if you can imagine columns being done, isn't this cool? You saw how quick and fast that was, and you can't mess up. And even if you want, you can go back and say you just want to put a little more, just go over the top of what you just did with some more of your sponging so that it gives it a little bit more depth. And it looks like some of them are underneath the spots. You can do that. You can do it in layers, and then you could go back and maybe lay a few more stripes across there with your feather or your simple little liner brush. So if you have a liner brush, you're just gonna, I've got one here, it's not a liner, but I'm gonna clean it off and just show you. You can just twirl it and drag it and twirl it and drag it and make it fat and skinny and fat and skinny, and just do that. In fact, let me see if I can maybe do one. This is not a liner brush, but we could maybe just, there you go. How simple was that? So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you'll make one of these. I got the canvas at Hobby Lobby. I get it on a ginormous roll. So it might be a little expensive to buy on a roll, but if you could get a couple of friends together to go buy a roll and then you all cut it up. This is my scrap. This is what's left over from my floor cloth tutorial. And if you want to go back and watch the floor cloth tutorial, please do so that way you can see how to do this from start to finish. But this just gives you a simple pattern. It looks wonderful. I used a semi-gloss paint because marble is shiny. There is no I haven't done anything to the surface yet, but if you want, you can go over it with a couple of coats of water-based polyurethane and give it 2 or 3 coats of that, and it'll last for years and years. You could put this in the middle of a dining room table. It would look really neat. So hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you all for watching. God bless. Bye-bye.